In a letter to lawmakers who were asking for more details, they want more details, as all of us soon will too. Mrs. Tulsi Gabbard denied that Mr. Trump had asked any questions of the FBI agents involved in the raid in Georgia, that he had issued directives of them. He just wanted to thank all of the agents, which is super suspicious. But there's a lot of suspicion to go around in all of this because Tulsi Gabbard herself has some weird stuff lurking in her background from earlier last year. A US intelligence official has alleged wrongdoing by her in a whistleblower complaint that's sort of just been languishing without being acted on for about a year. Andrew Bakaj is the attorney for the intelligence official, said earlier this week that the complaint was filed with the intelligence community's inspector general back in May, and that in June, the whistleblower asked that it be shared with lawmakers. He accused Gabbard of trying to hide the complaint from Congress. So here's a statement that the lawyer for this intelligence official put out. After nearly 8 months of taking illegal actions to protect herself, they're alluding to the fact that they're saying she buried this complaint illegally. The time has come for Tulsi Gabbard to comply with the law and fully release the disclosure to Congress. The Inspector General's independence and neutrality is non-existent when the Director of National Intelligence illegally inserts herself into the process. But bear in mind, that's sort of a standard across the Trump regime. Inspectors General have basically no freedom, no independence. That's the entire point of them, and they've been curtailed and mass fired under Donald Trump. So a representative for the Inspector General said that the office had determined that some of the allegations in the intelligence official's complaint were not credible, but they hadn't reached a determination on others. And the attorney for the intelligence official says that they had never gotten any information about literally any of this, which generally when you make a complaint, you would be updated about the investigation as it goes, at least in broad strokes, and that didn't happen. Now, here is what Gabbard's press secretary said. This is not true and is one of the most disgusting cases of clickbait I have ever seen. That is the first line of basically everything a Trump regime press secretary puts out. I think they just copy and paste it to the beginning of every tweet. There was absolutely no wrongdoing by DNI Gabbard, a fact that the Wall Street Journal conveniently buried 13 paragraphs down. Again, they can't bury that because they can't establish that because the complaint hasn't been fully adjudicated, let alone any information provided about that. So this is a lie, the press secretary is saying right there. Blah, 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 blah. Classic case of politically motivated individual weaponizing their position in the intelligence community. And I love that they're putting this out as that is literally what she is doing in Georgia, Tulsi Gabbard. She is in a position in the intelligence community. She is weaponizing her position against the pursuit of Donald Trump. Because the only thing keeping her in this job, the only thing that got her this job is the loyalty that she projects towards Donald Trump with stunts like this, with lies like, oh, Obama totally directed the Russia thing and he's gonna face some charges. Remember when she claimed that confidently and then just nothing came of it? She said it not because there was any information behind it, but because Donald Trump wants to hear that sort of thing, and it makes for a good news cycle in Fox News. Tulsi Gabbard has absolutely no credibility. In fact, she has massively negative credibility, probably less even than Olivia Coleman, the spokesperson for it. So all this it doesn't mean literally anything. And we're left not even knowing what the claims against her are, which seems a little bit strange. By the way, we have a Congress that has loved to investigate stuff like this previously when Joe Biden was president, but man, Comer he's got so much paperwork to catch up with. I can't investigate this sort of thing. I mean, that's a Trump ally. I might find something uncomfortable. And I'm already up to my neck with that with the Epstein files. And so, yes, I wish that we had more really to say about this. It's purely speculative since we don't even get to know what she's being accused of having done other than perhaps illegally burying this complaint. What do you think?
Yeah, and that's kind of my earlier point that I was trying to make is I don't know why we take anything that comes from this administration at face value or really with any kind of value, because we know that they're just saying things that will make them feel better, saying things to kind of just ride out this current wave in the media until people forget about it and move on, right? They just have to address the thing, and it doesn't matter if it's a good addressing or not, because people are going to inevitably move on to something else. And in the case with Trump himself specifically, but also people like Tulsi Gabbard, they put out these press statements and then they go through their press secretaries. Olivia Coleman, not the actress, just want to protect her, at all costs. But they come out and they make these official statements, but they really are just not worth anything to the public anymore because they don't clarify anything. Whatever they do say is a lot of times is easy to disprove because we can see for ourselves that that's not what it was, or the things that they say are just so obviously factually incorrect, and we can easily prove that they're factually incorrect. So it's just like this game that we're all playing at this point. It's like, oh, here's this. And they're like, oh, it's actually this. And you're like, okay, it's not that. And then what can you do? You have to move on. And yeah, we can't really depend on our justice system either to actually investigate any of these things because they're so busy with these Epstein files that they're also not dealing with properly. Any kind of accountability that we've even seen with anybody pertaining to the Epstein files has been overseas. We haven't seen a whole lot of it here in the United States. And even Todd Blanche, he recently was speaking about the Epstein files in an interview. He's like, "Ugh, I wish that there was like some kind of evidence that we had that we could investigate." But unfortunately, emailing Jeffrey Epstein isn't a crime, and that's all he can do. His hands are tied. That's what we get from this administration.
Yeah, and it can be, I'll end with this. It can be very frustrating, obviously, because we care about this, and a story like this will come up, and then there's just no investigation, let alone consequences. I just want to remind everyone that although this is a little bit abstract and a little bit indirect, we've been told, like during the last election, that your concerns about democracy, that sort of like abstract, high level, philosophical stuff, you need to shut up about that. Nobody actually cares about that. In fact, it's elitist of you to care. I've seen the polls recently of people ranking their concerns right now, and abstract concerns about democracy are not at the top, not when we have an affordability crisis like we have, but it is not far down there. People are actually seeing this stuff and they are concerned about it. And I don't know what part of the pie chart of people's, growing dissatisfaction and concern about this administration that is, but it's not zero. This stuff does actually matter. It's worth talking about, and it's certainly worth thinking about.
If you enjoyed that, make sure that you never miss another video by subscribing. And if you want a little more, consider hitting the join button and becoming an actual member. But you're probably wondering, why the hell would I do that, John? First off, calm down. The stakes in this are very, very low. But also, when you click the join button and you become a member, you get access to bonus content that I make every week, and it's a ton of fun. You get access to tons of custom emojis and more besides that. By the way, if you join at tier 3, you even get access to a monthly member hangout with myself and other awesome people, and we always have a great time. By the way, you'll get all that going forward, but you also unlock years of the back catalog. That is literally 100 or more bonus clips, top 10 lists, debates, and more. What are you waiting for? Click the join button below. Your support powers our show, and we couldn't do it without you. Or at the very least, I wouldn't really want to try. Viewers like you keep me here. So thank you in advance for joining.